I've talked with you guys a lot about how well our Airbnb business is going, about how much money it's making for us, especially compared to our long-term rentals that we used to have. So what I wanted to go through today is just the actual breakdown of how much money we have made in both our best month on Airbnb and our worst month on Airbnb, because unlike long-term rentals, these vacation rentals are very cyclical. They have on seasons and off seasons, slow and high times. And so I wanted to give you guys a look at what that looks like when you're dealing with short-term rentals in the Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge area. Just to do a little rewind here, we bought two cabins, one in June, one in September. They're both about $500,000 each, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. And we have had them both online and rented since about the end of September. The first one came online in the middle of July, but what we're going to go over today is only with both of them in the months that we have owned these places. Now, to do a comparison to what we were making on our long-term rentals, by the time that we were able to exit that industry, we had one apartment building that was a 3-unit apartment building. It grossed about $2,500 a month, and we were able to take home about $300 a month each as profit with our partnership. Because I have a business partner, we split everything 50-50, and so for each of us is about $300, which, if you guys are familiar with long-term rentals, that is pretty on par for your $100 to $200 per door that you're looking to get out of a long-term rental. So go ahead and hit that like button for me for the YouTube algorithm, and we'll get into what we're making as far as gross and what we're making as net profit and what we're taking home. So to get us started, we'll look at the low end of things, and this is going to be January for us. January, for the most part, nationwide for the tourism industry, for travel, is usually pretty low. People are just coming out of the holidays. They've spent a ton of money. Their credit card bills are gigantic, and people just aren't traveling. It's no different in Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge. January and February are usually pretty slow, and we had anticipated this to be a very slow time for us, and for us to essentially only cover costs of the places that we own. And that's basically what we did. The upside is that without having as much traffic through these rentals, we were able to get some major maintenance items done that we wanted to do, and that's a pretty common strategy in the Smoky Mountains, is to use January and February to do your projects that you're going to need people out of the house for. It's also a great time for you to visit them yourselves, and we visited in January. We'll be back in February, and so when you're looking at these as vacation homes as well, this is a good time to use them because the mountains are beautiful at this time of year, and sometimes you get some snow and such. But let's get into the numbers here. The first one that we bought, the one we call Moonlight Ridge, we grossed $4,097 for January, but then we had some pretty major expenses. Cleaning expenses were a big one. They always are a big one, but for the most part, that is passed through because we charge people a cleaning fee to stay places. That passes through, and it becomes an expense on our end, but it does come off of our gross income. That was $890. And then we had a pretty major chimney repair that we had to do where we had some rot, and that was another $1,600. So at the end of the month, the net income for Moonlight Ridge was only $336.89, and that seems comically low, and it is, but we had all these things scheduled. We had money put aside, actually. It just happens to be that January gets hit with this expense because it's just the time that it can. Now, our other cabin, the one that we bought in September, did $4,026.46, if we want to be exact. Had cleaning expenses of $950, and we made a net profit on that of $1,938.48. Now, the things that this doesn't encompass is our principal pay down to our mortgage, because that's something that just gets paid and it goes over into our asset column, and that is probably in the range of let's say $800 to $1,000, something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. May even be more than that. I'll take a look at that and I'll leave it in the comments. But what we do is we take our profit off of the very top gross number minus the cleaning expense, because that is just a pass-through fee. And so when we take our gross profits of 8,000 something and then take the cleaning fees off of that, we're left with $6,283, of which each partner takes 15%. And so we personally netted $942 each. And now you may think to yourself, well, that would end up putting you at a loss for the month. And you're right. But the other months that we've had in the summer and in the fall make up for that in a big fashion. And if you are into reading, check out the book Profit First. That basically says that you need to take the profit out of your gross revenue before you pay expenses, before you pay taxes, before you pay maintenance and utilities and all that. Because if you can't make a profit off of your gross income and you actually just take profit off of what is left over at the end, you may end up working forever in this business, working on a business, and never really being able to take a profit because you only take what's left over at the end. And now you might say that that would mean that the business wouldn't exist, and that may be the case. And if you can't take profit off the front end, then it may be time to reevaluate your business or look at something else to do. That's just kind of an aside. I'll leave a link to that book down in the description if you want to check that out. It's called Profit First. It's a pretty different way to look at business and accounting. But next we'll get into our most profitable month, and that one we have a very solid number. So for us, October was by far the most profitable month that we had in the time frame that we've owned these places. The biggest deal is that we had two of them versus one. Back in July of 2021, our Moonlight Ridge cabin, the first one that we bought, grossed almost $12,000, and that's just with one single cabin. And so, you know, we have had months that per cabin are bigger than this, but this October has been our best month so far. And the answer to that is simple. Why that is because this is a beautiful time of the year in the Smoky Mountains. The leaves are out. You're getting into that holiday season, and so people are going to want to start traveling, meeting up with their families and such, having reunions, and basically just getting away, especially if it's been a summer like we had in 2021 where everything was going nuts with COVID and what have you. But for Moonlight Ridge, which is the first cabin that we bought, we did $9,686.78 in gross revenue. We did, in that particular one, we had $910 of cleaning expenses, and then there was a large HOA fee due for that year. The HOA there is awesome, actually. A lot of people don't like HOAs, but they plow the snow for us. They have on-site security, and they have 3 different swimming pools that us or the guests can use. And so for us, it's a very good thing as far as maintaining a very high level of appeal to the neighborhood in the entire area. At the end of the day, at the bottom line number, we profited $5,342.72 on that cabin alone. Our second cabin, Whispering Woods, had a gross profit of $7,341.50. In October, this was essentially a very new listing and had very few reviews, and so people are going to be less likely to book it, and we couldn't charge as much as I think that we can charge for it now. We had cleaning expenses for this one of $1,040 and not a whole lot of other expenses out of the ordinary other than, you know, utilities and things like that, and we made a net income on this cabin of $5,113.78 for a total net profit that month in October 2021 of $10,012.58. And so when you look at the way that we do our accounting and how we do our payouts, we had $17,028 in gross revenue. We had $1,950 in cleaning fees that we don't count towards our gross revenue as far as the way that we pay ourselves. And if you take that 15%, each partner got a paycheck of $2,262 for the month of October, and I think that that is a pretty solid amount. October was by far the best month that we've had so far since we've had both cabins in operation, and January has been by far the worst month that we've had, but that is to be expected. I expect February to come in maybe a little bit better than January, but not in a significant amount. March is when things really turn up in the Smoky Mountains, and it's basically on like Donkey Kong from then until the beginning of January again. So I think that we're going to have a pretty awesome year. With these being new listings this year, and with us just getting into the Airbnb business, there was a significant learning curve, and there's a significant curve to you getting reviews, that people trust that your place is going to be awesome to stay at. We have learned that we can price our rentals for far higher than we ever thought that we would be able to in the beginning, and we've made adjustments so that that becomes reality. As I told you guys in the beginning of the video, our first cabin, the very first full month that it was on Airbnb, did almost 12,000 in gross bookings, and I think that we vastly undersold that. So I think that there are several months, including May, June, July, October, November, and December, that we could probably see gross revenues north of $20,000 for just these two cabins, and I am betting that we can get closer to 30,000 than 20,000 on a couple of those months, especially there in the beginning of the summer. If you all are interested in this type of business, be sure to click the links to the videos, to the playlists on the screen. I will leave a link to get started in Airbnb down in the description, because this is by far the most money I've ever made in real estate. This is the most money I've ever made in a side venture or a hustle. And it is the most fun that I've had investing in real estate, because these are incredibly more fun to work with, to deal with, to look at the numbers than the long-term rentals that I had been into before. If you like this video, be sure to hit that like button for me. That really helps me out, and the YouTube algorithm helps keep these videos going. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell down below so that you don't miss anything I put out on Airbnb or personal finance. I appreciate you guys watching today, and I will see you on the next one.